It's indeed a pleasure to welcome you all here this morning. I unfortunately could not make up for the cold weather. We're experiencing quite a real cold spell, but I'm sure with our discussions here today and the signing of this agreement is the heralding of a new warm arrangement between two very important role players, and we'll talk a little bit about that just now. But from the University of Johannesburg side, especially the Faculty of Health Sciences, it's indeed a pleasure to welcome you all here this morning, the significant morning. We're going to sign this Memorandum of Agreement between Specialized Rescue South Africa and the University of Johannesburg, Faculty of Health Sciences, specifically the Department of Emergency Medical Care. Warm word of welcome to you all. It's really a privilege to have you with us. I'm going to hand over to Mr. Scher for a few words from his side.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Welcome, Mr. Naito, Ms. Ishigami. Thank you for making the time to join us. I know you've just arrived from Tokyo, so I really appreciate it. But the fact that a lot of our funding comes from the government of Japan as a result of our response to Japan for the 2011 tsunami, out of that developed a partnership where we're now building capacity in Africa. And so I'm pleased that you could be here to witness something that for Rescue South Africa is a momentous occasion, because it's all part of our growth. And while we started out as a disaster response team, part of the things that we wanted to do was to develop a cache of equipment. Well, we have approximately 10 million rands worth of specialized rescue equipment that is packed near the OR Tambo Airport. But more importantly, other than the fact that we do respond, is that we are now building capacity in 8 of the SADC countries, 5 of them being funded by USAID and 3 of them being funded by the government of Japan. And one of the really important decisions that we made when we started the training is to take hands with the University of Johannesburg and try and make rescue into a profession, so that going forward in years to come, anybody who wants to practice as a rescue technician will have a university type training that they can then take into and make it into a profession, very similar to what the paramedics have done, where many years ago when I first started, a paramedic was something just on paper. It's now a profession, and you're registered with Medical and Dental Council. And I'd like, going forward with this new partnership, is to start developing, and it'll be obviously after my time, but I'm hoping in 20 or 30 years' time, when people look back, this is the beginning of creating a profession for rescuers as well as paramedics. And so thank you again for being prepared to enter into this arrangement with us.
It's only a pleasure. Dr. Lambert?
Thank you. I think the good news is I don't think we'll have to wait 20 or 30 years. We at the university, we've invested quite a lot into the education of rescue technicians. And this is a very exciting thing for me as an academic at the university, because I think that rescue is something that doesn't happen as frequently as many of our medical conditions. You know, if you have a patient, there are many patients every day, but there are not many major incidents. And that means that when there is something that happens, it's very important that we take as much learning as we can from that and share that with everyone globally. And I think within our region here in South Africa and within SADC, there's a lot that we need to learn about technical rescue, but there's also a lot that we can share. And I think this is an excellent opportunity to share what we know about rescue, to share with other countries what you know about rescue. Because ultimately, when we have these incidents, it's that people's lives are affected. And the better we can prepare ourselves to provide a good response, the better it will be for the citizens of the world. We're very interested in simulation learning, because when a disaster happens, very often the main focus is on dealing with the disaster. But if we can do a simulation environment where we can teach people in a controlled environment, we can start analyzing responses, we can do the research, so that when that event happens, and hopefully it never happens, but if it does, we will be much better prepared. So for us, it's very exciting. Rescue South Africa is the one institution, organization that is actually doing the real thing. And for academics to match our academic research and our theories with the real world is actually exactly what we need. So I'm very excited by the partnership. The last thing I do want to say is we are in the process of curriculating a formal qualification for technical rescue, and within the next, I think, 3 to 5 years, we will see that qualification being offered. Thank you.
Would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here on this occasion. I'm honored to be at this occasion. As a Japanese and also part of a Japan government structure, we don't remember, we don't forget the fact that the Rescue South Africa sent 45-member team when we had a big earthquake in Tsunami 4 years ago. And then it was South Africans who helped us when we were deeply in trouble. And then that story was shared by many Japanese people and touched many Japanese people. It's a story from a country of a Mandela legacy. And then, but that friendship didn't end with a friendship story, solidarity, but we are happy that it evolved to the partnership. And as Ian said, the Rescue South Africa started this initiative of training other rescue workers of Southern Africa and maybe Africa to share the knowledge and uplift the level of the preparedness against the natural disaster. Japan is a natural disaster prone country, and we had the Sendai meeting, and Ian was there. But we have a whole purpose of leveling up the preparedness against natural disaster of the whole Africa. And then certainly as a JICA, we support Japan International Cooperation Agency support this initiative, and we are now trying to bring the technical team maybe in November to maybe assist to do some additional lecture. So in that way, we surely support this initiative, and we are happy to be in this historical occasion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I think what we've heard with the statements that's been made clearly talks to the vision of the University of Johannesburg. As a university, we're committed and we want to be an international university of choice, anchored in Africa but dynamically changing the future. I just want to bring that back to the statements that was made here this morning. One of our key drivers is to have strategic partnerships, because as you truly alluded to, the world has become a very small place. A tragedy in Japan is a tragedy in Africa. A tragedy in Africa is a tragedy in South America. And we've got to continually work together to say, how do we grow human capital? How do we develop our scarce resources, of which rescue colleagues is one of those scarce resources, not just in South Africa, but worldwide, as we've seen in the tragedy in Japan, to a level where they cannot just only commit to challenges we have on our own country and our own continent, but also in the global village that we're all a part of. And as you've truly alluded to when you speak about the Mandela legacy, what we're doing is we're trying to build on Mandela's legacy. So our graduates, the strive we have in our university, our research endeavors, our partnerships endeavors, is for the better of mankind all over the globe, and not just specifically for ours. And there's no doubt in my mind that once we sign this agreement, we start with the cooperative training together with international partners, that we would have response teams that can react swiftly, efficiently, and in a suitable manner, whether it's a national, a continental, or global challenge, that we will have the manpower to address that aspect. So to everybody around the table, I think this is really a significant achievement that we're doing here. Signing on a national level, but with an international footprint. And we look forward to the Japanese government's partnership through your development agency, to us to grow and develop this partnership, so that as we take it forward, that we would have leading rescuers in a structured profession, as has been alluded to, that will address these real challenges. So thank you very much for all of you for your contribution. I think it's now the opportune time for us to put our signature down on these documents, to make everything we've said legal, and start driving the initiative for the betterment of mankind all over the world.
You know, I'd like to once again welcome Mr. Naito and Mr. Nishikama from Japan, and we've had a wonderful relationship with the Japanese government going forward, and we've had a good relationship with University of Johannesburg for quite a few years now since we've started our training, yeah, I'm glad that this memorandum has been signed, and hopefully it results in a very, very positive future for everyone.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very honored to join at this occasion. So Mr. Naito already explained that, so we'd like to continue to our collaboration.
Thank you.
Yes,
Well, junior or senior gonna talk.
I've been trained by this university, and there's one thing that I seriously want to underline is the quality of training, and it's definitely a big step in the right direction.
Okay.
Myself as well, started in 2008, did all of my courses at the university. It's not easy, but the standard is very high, and it also makes a big impact on the community, national and international as well. So I'm, as a young man, very honored to be here, and we hope that there's a very good partnership in the future with UJ as well again. And I also just want to say thank you. It's going to be a good time.
Right, from the university side, once again, I think we cannot express in words the value we have of this agreement that we've signed here today, and the commitment of all the role players around the table. I think one thing we've continually said as a Faculty of Health Sciences within our universities, that you've also alluded to, that standards is non-negotiable, especially when we work in an environment where standards is a real requirement to save people's lives. So I'm very happy to hear you say that the courses are difficult and that stuff, but that's what it's all about, because it's about that real standards that makes a difference in a challenging environment when we need to save lives. So thank you all, it's much appreciated your contribution, and you're all welcome to join us for something to drink and a light snack now. Thank you very much, much appreciated.
The University of Johannesburg. Rethink, reinvent.